Okay, the wait is over at last, and I know those of you who followed the series are probably highly pissed that it took this long to get this done. Again, I apologize. Me and the entire family have been quite ill, and then between time, just finding time to do this with a baby in the middle of, November, when I've got very long, odd work hours, it makes it a little bit tricky to do, and I do apologize. And I know it sounds like the lamest fucking excuse, oh, he was sick, but if any of you have kids, you know that when the kids get sick, the kids don't just get sick, everybody gets sick, and you have it forever. But enough babbling. I'm going to tell you a few things. Here's how it's going to go down. I'm going to first read off the unused content, fully produced as promised. And then, at the end of it, I'm going to explain kind of how I thought the thing was supposed to go. It didn't go exactly as I planned. But I'll explain more when I get to that. And then at the end, I'll tell you a little bit about some of my plans for the future. So, enough of this nonsense. Let's get on. We're going to start with Subject A, who just barely missed the cut to Subject D. It was an incredibly close race, and honestly, some votes came in after the polls had closed. I should say after I'd done calculating the votes, and it actually pushed it in Subject A's favor, but of course I had already recorded and put it up by that time. So that's how close it was. It almost turned out to be Subject A by just a few hours. As it is, personally I think Subject D had the most interesting ending, not to give away the rest, but I think Subject D's was my personal favorite. Even the others kind of agree that that's probably the most intriguing way to end it. But enough dawdling. Let's go ahead and give you the alternate ending if Subject A had won week 4.
I won.
Yes, your brash spirit seems to have won out in the end.
So what happens now?
I will knock you out with chloroform and leave you back where I found you, alone with your guilt and your paintings until the end.
And what about you? Do you think when I turn up after being gone for a month, the police won't start putting things together?
I never stay in one place too long. These complications are easily overcome.
Hey. Before you shove that rag in my mouth, just answer me one question. I feel like you owe it to me at this point.
Fair enough. Ask away.
Did you get your answer? Hey!
Yes, I did. In the end, the people don't care about sympathy or reason. What they want is a fighter. They want to believe that if they're faced with certain oblivion, they would fight it as defiant and arrogantly as you. Congratulations, Karen. You've won. You can come in now. This is her. Oh, Jesus, you really did a number on her. Unfortunately, she survived to the end of my little experiment. I'm going to leave her into your custody per our agreement. Of course, I can't thank you enough. What? Are you sure she hasn't suffered enough? After all, it was merely carelessness. No. Because of her, everything in my life fell apart. Don't get me wrong, I'm very glad she lived as long as she did. Now it's my turn. Now I get to have fun with her. I realize now I didn't make it very clear based on that dialogue, but the second person there, who I listed in the script as unidentified teenager, was one of the sons of the mother. So, yeah, like I say, it's an okay ending. Not as good as D. But anyways, let's move on to Subject B, who was played by my wife, who did extremely well, was the front runner in week 1. But then we revealed that she's kind of a mean girl, and then everybody immediately turned against her and just kind of went... That was a charming sound effect. So I'm going to go ahead and read off her week 3 and then week 4 unused dialogue, and you can see how her story arc would have gone.
Please, you have to let me go. I'm not going to last another week.
You've made it this far. What's one more week?
How do I even know there are other people? Maybe you're just some sicko who likes to keep girls tied up in his basement.
A bit late to bring up that objection. Besides, by the end of this week, you will either have won your freedom, or you'll be dead.
Why are you doing this?
It amuses me. I'm interested in the way people select who is deserving of life and who is deserving of death. It's very easy to judge when you are not the one in the crosshairs.
But you're the one who is killing us.
I am just the gun. The people of the internet are the gunmen. You'll be happy to know that even if you die, your death serves a much greater purpose. Perhaps the only good thing you will have done for humanity. But before you object, I have a question. What will you do if you win?
What do you mean?
If you live and are set free, what will you do?
I'm leaving college. I'll go away and I'll never do any of that shit again. It's behind me, I promise.
Well, I certainly hope that's true. Though I think even now, you might just be attempting to manipulate me. You have a gift. Let's hope others feel the same way. And now, week 4.
Can I go home now? I won, right?
Yes, you played the long con quite well. It seems the people of the internet believed your little story.
Were there really other people?
Oh, you care now? Yes, 3 others, as I said. 1 female, 2 male. All dead.
I'm not a bad person.
Because you never chained people up in a vault and murdered them one by one at the hands of the people. Yes, you're a good person on the sole basis that you never reached the depths of depravity that I have.
I was obviously better than the other people.
Actually, I don't believe you were, my dear. In fact, of the 4 people I captured, I only thought less of 1 person. But you have proven my theory. You have proven that people don't care about the facts. They only care about perception. They care about the people who act sorrowful and remorseful, who act as though they know what they've done wrong.
Look, you said if I lived, I got to leave, right? So let me out.
Yes, I made a promise and I wouldn't want to break it. You will live and you will leave here. But I think it's only fair that a proper escort take you. You know this man, don't you? This is Christina's boyfriend, the one you wanted so bad you would let her die. He's going to give you a ride home now, and I certainly hope he isn't eager for revenge.
You said I would live. You promised me.
I never break a promise. You just have one last person to convince now. See if he believes how sorry you are, Mary. See if you can manipulate him. As you can probably tell, it doesn't end happily for anybody, and Subject C probably least of all of the 3 who didn't make it. Again, I still think D's is the darkest and most interesting ending. So Subject C was interesting. He was played by my buddy Tim Jewett, who is Rishikaze on the livestream forums. I really liked his performance and his storyline, but I kind of figured that the internet troll was going to be the first to go. So let's go ahead and just knock this all out right now. I'm going to go down through week 2, week 3, and week 4 in order of his unused content. So you can see the story that you missed almost completely.
You know, as long as you're keeping me here, couldn't you step up the food game? I mean, not that I don't like military rations or nothing. But if I'm gonna die, I figure a pizza is within your budget.
You're remarkably brave. Or insufferably stupid, I can't tell which.
You want to make this some kind of game. I figure I have a better chance of surviving if I'm entertaining to listen to. Clearly I made it past the first round.
And what of the others? 2 women, 1 man, and one of them now dead.
I'm sorry for them, but better them than me.
As I expected, just another example of your callousness.
Survival of the fattest, baby. I can't go losing sleep over everybody who dies in the world. Besides, you're the one who's killing him, not me.
Every life exists at the cost of another. It's a shame, Greg. I feel like had we met under different circumstances, we might have been friends.
Yeah, totally. I dig the robe and knife aesthetic. I'd even go gay for you. Is that the fantasy you're working on for yourself?
Funny man. Very funny man. Now week 3. Are you ill?
Just a nasty cold, and the realization that I'm probably gonna die this week. Even if I don't get eliminated, you'll probably still screw me over somehow.
And yet you remain as stoic as ever. Do you even bother trying to cope with reality, or do you just hide from everything?
I don't want to die, man. I'm just trying to play along with whatever sick shit you got going on up there. I'm not like you.
Of course you are, Greg. You're just like me in every way, except you lack the motivation. You think the world is a fascinating place to be observed and studied, and that people aren't worth anything apart from what they can do to amuse you. The only difference between us, Greg, is that I've taken it to a much more sophisticated level.
What, by killing us? Yeah, I can't remember the last time I heard about a serial killer. You're so fucking original. Avant-garde, man.
Now, come on, Greg. Your fans are waiting for you. Tell me, what do you think you'll do if you manage to survive? What will you do if you get out of this alive?
What will I do? Probably go to the fucking cops, give them to find you and take your ass to jail.
Now, that's the funniest thing I've heard all month, Greg. You don't have anything to return to, do you? I bet none of your friends have even noticed you missing.
Fuck you.
I had high hopes for you, Greg. Well, there's a week left. You might impress me yet. Finally, week 4. And I will say, personally, I feel like this ending needed some work. It's the one I'm not the happiest with, because everything else kind of led to a logical conclusion. I feel like Subject C's ending came kind of out of nowhere, so I'm actually kind of glad we didn't get to this point.
Did I win?
In a manner of speaking. I guess your humor did the trick after all.
Cool. So what happens now?
Now? Well, now you go back to your little dormitory, with all the friends who love you, and the family who cares so much about you.
Stop it.
No, Greg, I think it's worth deliberating. I've given you the most meaning that your entire life will ever have. You've proven a theory that I've been mulling over for about a year now. That the people don't care about reality, only about perception. And that as long as something horrible is masked by a good joke or two, then nothing really else matters. You played a crucial part in that.
Yippee.
But now, what do you have to go home to? You know something. I've followed the news rigorously every day since you got here. Karen, subject A, her family held a candlelight vigil for her. Mary, subject B's, friends appeared on the news begging for her to be found. Will, subject D, his family was actively working with the police to try and uncover him. None of them will ever see the people they searched and mourned for ever again. Do you know what your impact in the world was? You had some YouTube comments. People following you saying such delightful things as, "Why hasn't this fat bitch uploaded anything new this month?" Another one adds, "He's probably being lazy. You've seen his fat ass getting out of bed. Must be so hard."
Stop it!
Your only mark is people who feed off the content you give them. Your family doesn't care enough about you to even notice you're missing. Your rich dad probably cares more about his business than he ever did about you. You're just a bully who feeds off others to make yourself feel better.
Fuck you! I won your stupid game, now let me go home!
Why? So you can live the rest of your life as their punching bag? Greg, you know the only way that anybody will ever truly care about you. The only way your life will matter at all.
What are you talking about?
The grand redeemer in the age of social media. I have some pills. You can simply swallow them and I'll place your body back where I found you. Eventually somebody will find you with a carefully crafted note.
You mean kill myself?
What's stopping you? Everything you have to live for? You can spend the rest of your life as a pariah, or you can die peacefully on your own terms as a martyr.
I don't...
1 month, Greg. Nobody has noticed anything. I could keep you here for another year, and nothing. Maybe your parents will notice you didn't call begging for money on Christmas. Maybe your professors will notice with a sigh of relief that you haven't made it to your classes. But you take these pills, and you'll prove them all wrong. You'll show how much your life meant to them. Do it, Greg. Prove them all wrong. It's a shame, Greg. I had hoped that your will was stronger than that. Okay, so final thoughts on the whole subject. First off, as far as how I thought things were going to go, as far as the way the story progressed, it went about the way I had predicted. Because I figured that, Subject C was going to go out right away because people don't like internet trolls. And of course, the whole cyberbullying thing is a really hot button issue right now. So I figured he was dead from the get-go. But I wrote a whole story out just in case he didn't, because you never know. Subject A was the one who the tester felt the most sympathetic towards. Because Subject A really was truly remorseful. And in fact, I was pretty confident Subject A was going to win, and it turns out, again, it was very close. I expected her to go all the way to the end, because, again, she is, I believe, the most sympathetic character, and Subject D has an interesting storyline. I feel like people wanted to know what was happening, but I didn't think it was going to last them all to the way to the end, but it turns out it did. And, again, probably for the best, because his ending was by far the most interesting and the most developed. I will say, I'm amazed at how many of you had such moral dilemmas over D. Because, B was pretty much what she got. She was manipulative, but whether or not she deserved to die, of course, is the big question. And everyone else is pretty much a surface character. A was truly remorseful, C didn't give a shit. D, I had written him as somebody who clearly was just doing it for the money, who acted like remorseful, and not even that convincingly. But a lot of you really still believe that he was honestly remorseful and that he was doing it just to be, sympathetic to his grandma or what have you. And again, just because I wrote the character that way, doesn't mean that's who the character is. Because with any piece of work, it's how you interpret it. So, thank you for taking such time. I was reading paragraphs upon paragraphs, people analyzing my work, and as a writer, that's just the best feeling ever. So thank you guys for following the series. Now, as for what's coming in the future, folks have asked me to do video stuff. I have video content I can do with myself and maybe my friends, but getting a project like this in video would be a much longer endeavor for obvious reasons. Other than that, more stuff like Social Experiment will be coming. Probably not until after the holiday season, because again, it takes forever to edit. But I'm working on a few things, and I'm thinking about having both a direct sequel to Social Experiment with a much larger cast and a few twists and turns here and there. And I'm going to have an interactive creepypasta, sort of a choose-your-own-adventures type thing, that I'm working on as well, though I can't say when either of these will get completed. It's a long process, and I'm still working out the kinks. But as soon as I know something, you'll know something. You'll know something, rather, is the way to say that sentence properly. Anyways, thank you so much for following Social Experiment. It's been a blast working on this project. I know my actors had a lot of fun doing it too. And just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. My subscriber count jumped because people were so interested in this. Creepypasta.com did the advert, and Ahriannah got that for me, and just everything kind of snowballed into something that turned into something amazingly awesome, and this is probably the best thing I've ever had the privilege of working on, and it just, seriously, man, it means a lot that you guys liked it so much, and I'm really looking forward to doing more work for you guys. Anyways, I've rambled enough. I will let you all go, and again, thank you for following.